I'm glad you're here at Beyond 60 Stories, where every life has a story to tell. Have you ever noticed how a simple moment at the end of a first date can reveal more than the entire evening of conversation? The check arrives quietly, the waiter places it between you, there is a pause, a glance, a subtle shift in posture, and in that small, ordinary exchange, something deeper than money is being communicated. The philosopher Seneca once wrote that character is revealed in small things, not grand declarations. After 60, we know this to be true. Grand promises are easy. Small gestures are honest. In today's video, we're exploring what really happens when the bill arrives on a first date after 60, and why who pays is never just about money. We're revealing the hidden signals behind that moment, and especially the second pattern most women completely overlook. Before we begin, tap that like button and subscribe to Beyond 60 Stories so we can continue exploring love, wisdom, and life lessons together in this season of life. Lesson 1. The gesture is never about the money. When the check arrives on a first date after 60, what you are witnessing is not a financial transaction. You are witnessing a reflection of his relationship with responsibility, generosity, and quiet leadership. At this stage of life, most men are not trying to impress you with extravagance. They are revealing how they move through the world. If he reaches calmly and confidently for the check without theatrics, without overemphasizing the gesture, it often reflects comfort with responsibility. It suggests he sees the invitation as something he initiated and therefore something he honors. It is not about dominance, it is about steadiness. Many men from this generation were raised with the idea that providing, even symbolically, expresses care. When that gesture feels natural rather than performative, it signals maturity. However, the way he pays matters more than the act itself. Does he glance at you first? Does he smile and say, "I've got this," with warmth rather than entitlement? Or does he make a show of it? Sometimes a man insists on paying loudly, almost as if he is purchasing gratitude. That subtle difference reveals something important. Generosity that is quiet feels safe. Generosity that demands acknowledgement can hint at control. There are also men who immediately suggest splitting the bill. At 60, this does not automatically signal stinginess. Many widowed or divorced men have spent years in equitable partnerships. For them, offering to split may reflect respect for independence rather than reluctance. What matters is tone. If he says it casually and with ease, it may show he values balance. If he seems tense, defensive, or overly concerned about fairness, it may reflect deeper anxieties about being taken advantage of. The deeper question is not who pays, but how he handles the moment. Does he appear relaxed? Does he maintain eye contact? Does he include you in the decision without awkwardness? Money often exposes emotional comfort. A man at peace with himself approaches the check the same way he approaches life, calmly, clearly, without overcompensation. After 60, most women have their own financial independence. You are not seeking a provider in the traditional sense. You are observing energy. Does he operate from scarcity or steadiness? From pride or partnership? From fear or ease? That brief exchange over the bill can reveal his broader philosophy about shared experiences. And yet this is only the surface layer, because there is a second behavior that unfolds in the same moment, something more subtle than payment itself, and most women miss it entirely. In the next lesson, we will explore what happens in the seconds after the check is settled, and why that detail speaks even louder than who reached for the card. Lesson 2. What happens after he pays matters more than who pays. Most women focus on the moment his hand reaches for the bill, but the deeper signal unfolds in the seconds after the transaction is complete. This is the part most women miss, and it reveals more about his emotional wiring than the payment itself. Once the card is returned, once the check is signed, once the waiter steps away, does he remain present with you, or does his energy shift? Watch carefully. Some men pay and then lean back with subtle pride, as if a role has been fulfilled and the performance concluded. Others pay and immediately change posture, checking their phone, glancing around the room, signaling that the emotional engagement has diminished. These reactions are rarely conscious, yet they speak loudly. The payment may be generous, but the emotional continuity is what matters. A man who remains emotionally present after paying communicates steadiness. He does not treat the gesture as leverage or accomplishment. He continues the conversation. He maintains eye contact. He does not rush the moment as if completing a task that continuity suggests. He sees the date as shared time, not a transaction. It reflects an internal balance between giving and being. On the other hand, if his demeanor subtly hardens, if humor becomes forced, if warmth fades once the bill is settled, that may reveal a deeper pattern. Sometimes payment triggers expectation. Sometimes it awakens entitlement. A slight tightening of the jaw, a shift toward impatience, or an implied assumption about what comes next can indicate that generosity was not entirely free. At 60, you have the experience to notice these nuances. You do not need dramatic red flags. The small shifts are enough. There is also another version of this moment that women often overlook. Some men become visibly uncomfortable after paying, as if financial vulnerability has been exposed. They may over-explain the choice of restaurant or downplay the expense. This does not necessarily mean insecurity about wealth. It may reflect a lifetime of equating money with worth. When you observe this gently, you begin to see how he handles internal pressure. Does he seek reassurance? Does he deflect? Does he become self-conscious? These subtle cues matter. What truly reveals character is emotional continuity after the bill. Does he remain curious about you? Does he ask another question? Does he suggest lingering for coffee or a short walk without calculation? That natural extension of time indicates authentic interest. A man invested in connection does not see the payment as an endpoint. He sees it as part of the evening. If you have experienced this subtle shift before, I invite you to share your story in the comments below. Many women over 60 carry wisdom that could help others recognize patterns sooner. Your reflection might illuminate what someone else is currently trying to understand. Lesson 3. What his reaction to your offer reveals about power and partness. There is a moment that often passes quietly, almost unnoticed. Yet it carries more weight than the swipe of a card. It is the moment when you reach for your purse. When you say gently, "Would you like me to contribute?" The check may already be paid, but this small gesture opens a window into how he understands partnership at this stage of life. At 60 and beyond, most women are financially independent. You are not asking to split the bill because you must. You are offering because you can. And how he responds to that offer reveals his philosophy about equality, pride, and shared ground. Some men smile warmly and say, "I appreciate that, but allow me." Without tension, that response often reflects secure masculinity. He accepts your strength without feeling threatened. He declines your offer not from dominance but from choice. Other men react differently. There are those who stiffen, who insist in a tone that feels less generous and more territorial. If his refusal carries an edge, if it feels like your offer somehow challenged him, that subtle defensiveness speaks volumes. It suggests that providing is not simply a gesture, but an identity he guards closely. When identity is fragile, small things feel large. Then there is another response that many women misinterpret. Some men welcome your offer too quickly, almost with relief. "Yes, let's split it," they say, not from equality but from calculation. This is not inherently negative, yet tone matters. Does he say it with lightness or with quiet accounting? The difference lies in energy. Purchase feels fluid. Trenchon feels measured. There is also the man who turns the moment into negotiation. "You can get the next one," he says, smiling. This response can signal forward thinking. It implies another meeting. It suggests he sees continuity rather than closure. In that simple phrase, there is optimism. The truth is, mature partnership is less about who covers dinner and more about how both people navigate contribution. After 60, love is no longer about dependency, it is about shared rhythm. If he respects your independence without diminishing his own, you are witnessing balance. If he reacts from pride, insecurity, or silent resentment, you are witnessing imbalance. Lesson 4. Last, the walk after dinner revolves his emotional alley. When the bill is paid, when chairs are gently pushed back, when coats are slipped on and the restaurant door opens to the evening air, something shifts. The formal structure of the date dissolves. There is no longer a table between you, no waiter, no menu, just two people stepping into the night, and in that walk, whether it lasts 5 minutes or 20, you often see the clearest reflection of who he truly is. After 60, dating is less about performance and more about emotional presence. Inside the restaurant there are roles. Outside there is reality. Does he slow his pace to match yours naturally? Does he remain beside you, or does he walk slightly ahead as if unconsciously returning to independence? Small physical cues carry emotional meaning. They are rarely rehearsed. They simply emerge. Some men become noticeably more relaxed once outside. Their shoulders drop, their tone softens, conversation becomes less curated. That easing can signal authenticity. It suggests he is comfortable with you beyond the structure of the date. He is no longer trying to impress. He is simply being. That is a quiet strength. Others grow distant once the formal setting ends. They check their phone. Their voice shifts to logistics. They begin discussing schedules rather than shared reflections from the evening. This is not necessarily disinterest, but it may signal compartmentalization. If the date feels like an event rather than an experience, that subtle distance often appears in the walk. Watch how he handles silence. Mature emotional availability is revealed in quiet moments. If the two of you pause under streetlights, if the conversation slows naturally, does he appear comfortable, or does he rush to fill space? Silence after 60 is no longer awkward. When two people are grounded, it becomes companionship. There is also the matter of physical awareness, not dramatic gestures, not exaggerated chivalry, but attentiveness. Does he notice uneven pavement? Does he position himself instinctively on the outside of the sidewalk? These actions are not about outdated tradition. They reflect attentiveness and awareness of shared space. Emotional availability often expresses itself physically in small protective movements that feel natural rather than performative. And finally, observe how he says goodbye. A man emotionally invested will not rush departure. He will allow the moment to settle. He may suggest another meeting without pressure. He may reference something you discussed earlier, showing he was listening. His goodbye will feel connected rather than transactional. The walk after dinner reveals whether he views you as a companion for an evening or a possibility for the future. After 60, emotional availability is not loud. It is steady. It is present. It is revealed in pace, tone, silence, and the way he stands beside you under soft streetlights. When we look back at the evening as a whole, we begin to understand something important. A first date after 60 is not an audition for youth. It is not a competition of charm. It is not a performance of wealth or status. It is a quiet exchange of character. And nowhere is that character more visible than in the small, almost invisible moments. The way he handles the check, the tone of his voice after payment, the way he responds when you offer to contribute, the pace of his steps beside you in the evening air. Money is simply the setting. Energy is the message. After decades of life experience, you are no longer evaluating whether a man can afford dinner. You are sensing whether he carries steadiness, whether he understands partnership, whether his generosity is free or conditional, whether his pride is grounded or fragile. You are reading tone, posture, silence, and continuity. Who pays on the first date does not reveal his bank account. It reveals his philosophy. Does he operate from security or from performance, from partnership or from power, from ease or from calculation? These signals are subtle, Yet at this stage of life, subtlety is enough. You have lived long enough to know that character rarely shouts, it whispers. And perhaps the most overlooked truth is this: your reaction matters just as much when you observe calmly, when you offer contribution without defensiveness, when you walk beside him without testing or performing. You are also revealing your own philosophy of partnership. Mature love is not about dependency or dominance. It is about rhythm. So the next time the check arrives, do not rush the moment. Do not overanalyze the amount. Instead, notice the atmosphere. Notice how you feel in your body. Notice whether the evening expands or contracts after the bill is settled. That sensation will tell you more than any conversation about intentions. And if you appreciate thoughtful conversations like this, please consider liking this video and subscribing to Beyond 60 Stories. This channel exists to honor the wisdom that only time can refine.